Welcome to Gaia's Love, a podcast of brief messages to help humanity bridge the gap to the new earth. My name is Vivienne Gerard. It is my delight to be a scribe for consciousness today, sharing the wisdom that flows through from Source. Here we go. Episode 276. It is Tuesday here in Cincinnati, 93 today. Again, I think again tomorrow, and then we drop 20 degrees for our high. Welcome to this beautiful city that we all love to tease about the weather. It's hot and sticky, and everything feels dry outside. When I went for my run this morning early because it was so warm, this is leading into the theme for today. I have this hill that I run up. That's not quite true. I have this hill that I walk up. I start running. I usually end up walking because it's really steep. And at the top of the hill, I turn right and I go into this whole neighborhood that's more flat. And when I am going up the hill, I usually have my shuffle playing and my music, and I'm listening for cars behind me and coming towards me. And I'm often looking down, like I'm watching my feet, I'm kind of watching the road and not really looking up at the sky. I'm much more focused on right next step in front of me. This morning I got to the top of the hill, and as I was getting ready to turn into the neighborhood, there was just this huge, beautiful white cloud up in the sky, and for some reason it just caught my attention. And I looked up. And so I was standing there at the corner of this road, looking up, pulling out my camera to take a picture, and cars going by, and it's early in the morning. And it just brought this awareness forward again for me, which I share with you here, is that it's so easy for us to get caught up in the monotony of our days or our activities, our routines, the things that we can see and feel right here in front of us that we believe must be true because we see them. And we forget to look up. And when we do that, this morning when I was standing there just looking up at the sky with my camera, taking a picture, it was so expansive, and the blue was so crisp early this morning. There was no hot haze started yet. This cloud was just an incredible pattern. I'll share it in the picture so you can see it. It was so peaceful and so beautiful. And that one moment of stopping and looking up changed the feeling and the approach and the attitude I had for my run. So when I started running after that, I was looking around, looking up. It was like I made this choice of, I'm not going to watch my feet. I'm not going to look at the road. I spend way too much time looking down while I'm doing my exercise. I need to be looking out and around. And I know I've talked about this before, but for some reason today, it really just opened up a new possibility. When I was thinking about the words looking up, it was interesting because a couple other definitions came forward, and I love the way words play and the way we can interpret and reinterpret and create our own interpretation and definitions. When people say looking up, they often imply things are getting brighter. Things are looking up. There's this expectation that the tide is turning, the bad luck is ending, the good luck is starting, things are changing direction or course. And I love the symbolism of that because it's the same thing as looking up into the sky. Things just open up. It's brighter usually up than it is down. The other definition I thought of was, looking something up, looking up a word in the dictionary or looking up a definition and meaning. It implies getting more information, gathering more data. And I believe that is a possibility when we look up at the sky. Things just look different, and the perspective is different. when I was running, I was watching the birds today. We're in the season here in the Midwest where the birds are really starting to gather in big groups and move from place to place. And it's just incredible to watch them all fly so close together in these big packs and just relocate themselves. And they make this amazing noise when they all just take off or land and they're all talking to each other. It's so cool. It's so cool. And we miss that. If we don't look up, we totally miss that. But I often imagine, what does the world look like from that perspective? When when a bird, or if we go higher, if a hawk, an eagle, is looking down at the ground, they're able to scan the entire scene, all of it, and then determine exactly which one micro little place they want to drop into and get their prey or do the thing they need to do. Or maybe they just want to hang out in the sky and just soar for a while, just feel the wind blowing through their wings and enjoy the view. Everything looks different when we change our perspective, and simply standing on the ground and looking up, we can feel how much more open the possibilities become. And it feels important for that reminder. Right, there's a lot going on, including in my throat chakra. There's a lot happening for many people, and this sign of Libra, we're sitting we're sitting in all the truth and untruth and places of realignment within our relationships, our own relationships with ourselves, and then also the important relationships around us. And sometimes when Libra energy is moving in this way that it is with the new moon, it can feel very uncomfortable and unfamiliar. And the places that perhaps have felt stable or predictable are now shifting, and they're not as, what would the word be? The expectations that we have of each other perhaps are being adjusted, and that's difficult. Sometimes we get very comfortable in how our relationships feel, and when they start to bump and shift and move around and expand, it feels like the ground is moving underneath us. If that's the case, plant your feet. Plant your feet on the ground, just like I did this morning. Look up at the sky and open up. Allow in something different. Change the way that you're seeing the situation or the relationship. And then who knows, right? Who knows what can come from that expansive possibility when we open up space visually, looking up at a big, huge open sky. There's a match energetically within us. So within our physical eyes, within our third eye, within our throat, within our heart, we open up also. And so perhaps the places where we've been holding on to a relationship feeling a certain way, we can open up some space for something better and bigger to be unfolding and creating. Libra is a beautiful, exciting energy when we tune into the highest possibilities of it. Like looking up at the sky, when we see the bigger openings, it's a really powerful shift that we can play with in Libra. When we're looking down at the ground, like I did when I started my run walk, when I was going up the hill and I'm right, step by step, trying to move to the beat of the music and get myself up this really steep hill, huffing and puffing. It's effort. There's a lot of work. It feels hard. It feels like we have to watch our step and take all these big movements forward, and it feels like you can never get to the top of the hill, and you don't even know if there's an end to the hill. Our minds can really drag us into this place of fear and doubt and believing just what's right here must be real. And so I remind you, let's pause and spend some time looking up. Look up, up, up. Open up the possibilities. Daydream. This is a perfect time to Well, it's kind of hot outside, but it still is a perfect time to sit with your back against a tree and feel the steadiness of this planet. To lay flat out on the grass or on a blanket and look up at the sky, at the stars at night. Open up to new ideas of what partnership and relationship can look like. Even within ourselves, expand those possibilities. There's so much that can be redefined at this time. Anytime around a new moon, but especially here with Libra, there's so much that we can redefine for ourselves. And when we do it within ourselves, it's going to change all of those relationships around us. It has to. We're different. And every time we're different, the people around us are like, oh, shit, I got to be different too because she's different or he's different. That's the point. That's how evolution happens. That's how expansion of consciousness happens. We each become a little more, and then more becomes more, becomes more, becomes more. If what we're focusing on is the fear, that's what's going to continue radiating out in bigger ways. If we focus on this sense of possibilities and empowerment and choosing love and breathing into the joy of it, right? Watch out, world. Watch out, world. So the invitation is take a moment, whatever your activities look like today. Just pause and then spend a little time looking up. And then see what shifts. Thank you for tuning into this vibration of pure love. I invite you to join me in aligning with the optimal health of your mind, body, spirit in the virtual community of Viv's Energy Gym. You can learn more at mysouljourney.com. Let's take this message of Gaia's love out into all of our relationships and communities today. So much love from my heart to yours.